Hi, this is Jen Hoegh, Director of Information and Learning Technology. And I'm here today with one of our 7th grade teachers about an innovative idea that he's implementing in his classroom today. And so let's just first please share your name, what you're teaching, and how long you've been teaching.
Sure. My name is Owen Hoegh. I teach 7th grade life science and this is my 2nd year of doing that for the district. And before that, I taught STEM for a year here in Byron, and before that, I taught 8th grade earth science for 5 years back in South Dakota. So that's my teaching career right there.
Okay, give us a brief overview of what it is that you're doing right now.
Sure. Yeah, I'll try to be as general or specific as I should, but I think if you want to describe it in a phrase, it's like gamified, mastery-based learning. Right now, the really innovative part lately has been to go self-paced, and we're calling it, and the kids are calling it, a mini med school unit. We're learning about the human body systems and how they're related. So what kids do during that time, it is self-paced. They can work at their own pace, and to do that, there were some things that I kind of put in place so that they could just go. And so all of the direct instruction that I would typically maybe take a few minutes to talk to the whole class is now on video, and we've utilized Edpuzzle to get that direct instruction if they need it, and that's been really cool because I can ask questions. They can kind of monitor their progress through the video, and I can see that too and see where they're at. And then they kind of go through different learning activities, labs, online simulations, in order to master the concept. So there's a standard check that they take. And at that point, if they're at a 3.0 or above on a 4-point scale, we consider it mastered, and then it's on to trying to figure out how are you going to demonstrate that learning in a creative way. So the arc or the path that they're taking during each unit, during each mini med school year, and there's 4 years of mini med school, is it kind of looks like that. And then so it's self-paced. Hopefully it's creative, and I'm kind of tracking students along the way too, and with a lot of formative assessment. And each kid has their own learning log that shows kind of the badges that they've earned throughout the year for mastering certain concepts.
Can you explain a little bit about the badging system, how you're using that within your med school program?
Yeah, it's kind of that mastery thing. Like I wanted there to be some tangible thing that they could kind of say and reflect on a little bit. Okay, what do I know and what do I don't know? And what have I done? And what are some of my successes and failures? And what can I do to fix the failures? So I have like a master spreadsheet on Google Sheets, and I'm able to track how they've done on standard checks and these creative opportunities. And when they demonstrate mastery at a certain level, that's when the badge is awarded. And it's all done within Google Sheets, but it's pretty powerful, not just as data, but for them to see on their learning log a badge show up for mastering the respiratory system and how we get oxygen into our bodies, just as one example. That's for many students has been an engaging part of it, and they want to progress to that next year, and I want them to have that kind of motivation that is standards based. It's not like a number. It's more of have I mastered this concept, and what have I done here?
Okay. So why did you go down this path? What led you to implement this idea into your classroom?
Sure. You know, our PLC questions, like 3 and 4, like what will you do if a kid doesn't get it? and then what do you do if a kid has demonstrated that they know it quite well? So I think it's mostly out of a desire to meet the needs of every student, and I feel like the self-pacing can get that, or that can be accomplished a little easier that way. I can the direct instruction being on a video, it allows me to move around the class every day and meet with about 160 kids every day, and I can talk with them and see where they're at. I can track where they're at and try to see, okay, what should we do next? How can I help you? So I feel like my time and their time is maybe a little bit more efficient, and I wanted to do that. And the other thing, I don't want to have like a boring classroom. Like there's some kind of desire for me that I don't want them to just go to science and then leave science. You know, I want it to matter, and sometimes I succeed with that engagement piece, and sometimes I'm sure I fail. And you know, I think this is what I've been doing lately, is just an effort to try to meet those needs and engage them.
Well, you're kind of alluding to my next question. So how is it going with students? Have you recognized any differences? What are your thoughts about how you've implemented this into the classroom from the student perspective?
I think, you know, there are some surprises for going self-paced and with this mastery, and some things that I thought would work have. One thing is just the relationship building that I am able to foster and develop in a positive way. I love being able to visit with students about the work they're doing in science, and the stuff that just is going on. Like for me to have that time during mastery time is really, really valuable. And if it leads to more learning, like research suggests it does, like, and that's a bonus. It's enjoyable and energy giving, kind of. Yeah.
Have you noticed any difference? I mean, the engagement levels, kids going above and beyond that they typically might have done last year. Have you noticed any of that once you've given them some flexibility and choice and voice in their learning?
Definitely. I'm always surprised. Lately, it's been, I give them a few guidelines. This is what I'd like to see, maybe a couple examples, and then I do open it up and say, how you can demonstrate this mastery how you want to. And that's when I am blown away. Like there might be a hint of some of the ideas that I put out there, but then they just blow it out and make some really cool things. And so that's really good.
Yeah.
To see.
So what was your biggest challenge, and how did you overcome those challenges?
One difficult thing with it being the second year that I've taught this kind of curriculum and content, is that I'm still trying to find things and build that, and making all these learning opportunities worthy and fun. So I feel like it's a challenge to stay ahead of them at times, to be ready in case this student demonstrates this mastery faster than I thought they ever could. So staying ahead of them is a difficult part. I think at the student level in 7th grade, some of these kids are so well equipped to say, okay, I've got some freedom here. I know exactly what I want to do, and I can organize myself in a way that I can be very efficient with the 47 minutes I have in class. And for some students, that's not there yet. So I think teaching that organization has been a big challenge. Like, okay, let's use this checklist and let's see what you've done and what you haven't, instead of, okay, it's mastery time, everybody. And then, you know, many students at the start were kind of like, so what do I do? So that was a big challenge. And I think the more time we spend on it, it ends up improving. And they develop autonomy, and they develop some skills that maybe go beyond just science too.
Well, I was going to say that to me is a life skill, to utilize your time efficiently on whatever you're working on. I mean, they can take that to, you know, life, to work, wherever they go past, school. So
Sure. Still a skill I need to work on too.
Well, I agree with you, especially because you I multitask all the time. So
yeah.
Okay, so are there still challenges you still face? And just so you know, like for the audience, that you do have one-to-one, so every student does have an iPad. Are there any challenges that you're still having trouble getting through?
Yeah, I think day to day, I'm constantly figuring out, okay, that didn't go the best, or that did, and how should I structure this? Because I like having the big idea in mind and then making that happen. So there are some things about where can I provide more student choice, maybe with the track of learning, and getting to that mastery or getting to that standard check. Can I make that different, or can I tailor that better, or can I throw this out? And then how can I teach those organizational skills to help students help themselves? So yeah, I think there's still a lot of challenges that I think will take time, and but those are exciting kind of problems to have as a teacher too. Like, how can I make this better? That's maybe a big element of teaching.
Okay. How did this experience enhance or transform the learning in your classroom?
I think the opportunities for them to show creativity has been a big difference. And I think we've talked about a little bit about how the skills that they're gaining by reflecting and keeping track of their own learning have been really beneficial and transformative for me, because I don't know if I've given this much freedom in the way that they demonstrate mastery before, like what app they're going to use and how exactly they're going to show it. But I think that has been a eye opener for me, and that I can really give that to students and let them go with things. Not that I haven't done elements of that before, but that's been a game changer. And yeah.
Okay. What role has technology played in this experience, and could you do it without technology?
I don't know how I would do it exactly. Maybe there's a way without some of the tech tools that we've used, but it's been pretty essential. I'm using Classroom to distribute student copies of these unit documents that has a lot of those opportunities there. Certainly like Screencast-O-Matic for getting the video lessons, getting the information that I want every student to know in a form that they can access whenever or rewind. I don't think I can do the self-pacing thing without that quite yet, at least during this unit, where there is a little bit more direct instruction that's necessary. So yeah, so the Ed Puzzle, the Screencast-O-Matic piece is big, and then finding a creative way to demonstrate learning for the kids themselves. I think with the number of apps that they've used for that, it would be difficult to replace that kind of technology too. So it's been a pretty big part, and
Well, I think you use Google Apps for the whole tracking and badging system
yeah,
too, right?
Yeah, that student feedback and the instant feedback, Flubaroo for all of the Google Form standard checks, they're all done through that. They use the QR code and they get to a quiz that they try to show mastery on. So, and then the Google Sheet that kind of gives them their own online learning log with the badges and the levels. I couldn't imagine physically making all those things. There's no way to do that. So yeah, a lot of it would take a lot of time without technology. Not that it doesn't with technology, but it's much more possible.
As you reflect on this experience, how has this experience helped you grow as a teacher?
Uh, well, we're learning about the brain some right now. So even all the literature uh, about mindset and uh, that, or even developing talent, how that happens. It's not just a shot in the dark. It's not just we have these geniuses everywhere. So to be able to teach that during this human body systems mini med school, and even reading some of that literature has been really practice changing for me. So that's a big piece of it. And then, yeah, actually, just every experience with each kid is different. So uh, I think just being able to have a lot of that face-to-face interaction with kids um, has definitely been transformative too. And it'd be tough to not do things that way,
Right.
knowing that there are so many positive benefits that I think can come from that.
Well, and I have to wonder, when students kind of have control over their own learning. I mean, that in itself is very transformative, and they have choice in how they're going to show you what they know. And they have digital artifacts too that they can go back and reflect on.
Sure.
So I absolutely love that component within this idea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've been doing this since when? This.
I finally thought I could do it after Christmas.
Okay.
Break.
So this is a brand new, just brand new idea. Where are you going to take this from here? And where do you, if we come back and visit your classroom 1 year from now, what will be different?
My hope is that I could continue that self-pacing, that mastery for sure. I'm hoping to provide less of a grade feedback and more of a narrative style of feedback. Reading some of the SE2R stuff, really, I think that hopefully by then, hopefully I can incorporate that into what I have going right now. So that's one thing. I'm always looking, just second year teaching this content, I want more hands-on stuff. I want more labs or online simulations where they can experience it. And they've gotten a decent amount of that, but I'm always looking for more of those opportunities. And so yeah, I think that would be the biggest change that I would foresee happening. More narrative feedback through Google tools, most likely, and then more hands-on stuff, and maybe different tracks of learning and getting to that point of mastery.
So as you think about our district's strategic plan, Learn, Share, Innovate, Inspire, where do you see this innovative idea, transformative idea fitting with our strategic plan?
Sure. Well, I think it empowers students to do all four things. The kind of framework that's there. It's actually that same terminology, Learn, Share, Innovate, Inspire, is the same track that each Google Doc for that unit, for that mini med school year, has explicitly those words. So that's kind of the order in which they are going through and learning. So the Learn and Share, that's a lot of, that would be the Edpuzzle videos, I guess, and reading assignments, online simulations, working with partners on a lab. And then we get to the Innovate after they have done that, and that's where they show off their creativity and demonstrate learning. And then the Inspire section is usually a reflective piece. And that's where, they can share their work with others. They can reflect on the whole process from that year. So yeah, those words that the district has as the main forefront of their mission, I think fit really well with science too. So yeah, I love those words they're verbs, they're actions. So for that to happen during science is something that I hope can take place.
Well, I love how you have taken the framework of our mission and embedded it into the curriculum. you know, and maybe, you know, if there's an opportunity, if there's a, you know, to share some of those resources so that the audience here can see what that kind of looks like. I think that's what's really exciting. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to go and interview some students. I have just a couple of questions. I have an iPad over there that we'll just go into the classroom, interview some students, and get their perspective of this gamified flipped mastery-based learning.
Nice.
Right?
Nice.
Okay, so hang tight there. All right.